Welcome to today's presentation on the conduct of the rehearsal of concept drill. Today's presentation seeks to provide you with a broad understanding of what a rehearsal of concept is, why we conduct a rehearsal of concept, as well as highlight a number of different types of rehearsals that can be conducted. Thereafter, the presentation will focus on describing and demonstrating the key rehearsal of concept drill actions that support it being conducted effectively and efficiently. This presentation will conclude by highlighting some rehearsal of concept drill common faults and before a brief summary. A ROC is a detailed walkthrough of the plan, generally involving the commander, key subordinate commandants, principal staff officers and BOS specialists. A ROC is conducted to support the development of a shared understanding of a tactical plan by all personnel as an effective way to ensure all actions are effectively synchronised and effects orchestrated to achieve the commander's intent. Although a ROC can be conducted of an entire plan, the ROC drill itself is run by designated time brackets and is generally focused on confirming particular complicated or risky portions of the plan and may result in minor amendments to control measures. The sequencing of the ROC drill may include a summary of the most likely enemy actions in a given time window, followed by each of the subordinate commanders and BOS specialists summarising their ski manoeuvre for that particular time band. Importantly, the ROC drill provides the commander with the opportunity to discuss friendly force reactions to specific enemy actions or contingencies, such as the enemy adopting the most dangerous course of action, or the loss of a critical supporting element to the plan, such as offensive support for joint fires and effects. The level of detail in a ROC drill will be dependent on the level of command, time and staff available, the level of training and interoperability of the force, and the complexity of the operation. A ROC is in itself a rehearsal for the tactical or operational plan. As such, there are a number of recognised and well-practiced methods of conducting rehearsals. Some of these are as follows. A full dress rehearsal. This is the ideal form of rehearsal and sees all force elements practice the conduct of their respective drills and tactical actions in complete fighting order and communication suites, within an operating environment and time as the same planned operation. This form of rehearsal is time and manpower intensive but should be conducted wherever possible as part of battle procedure, particularly at the lower tactical level. Reduced force rehearsal is a more common form of rehearsal where higher level commanders at the unit and subunit level would conduct a rehearsal concept drill using a mud model or an overlay, thereby enabling lower level commanders at the subunit, platoon or section level to conduct a full dress rehearsal. Mud model rehearsal. This is the most common form of a rehearsal concept, where force elements and capabilities are represented by unit markers and or physically walked through on the mud model by the force element commanders and specialists. Sketch map or overlay rehearsals. This is similar to that of a mud model rehearsal, but makes use of overlays or sketch maps with smaller markers to represent force elements or capabilities. CIS rehearsal. A highly scripted rehearsal conducted using communication mediums such as combat net radio, battle management systems and other like mission-specific networks to rehearse critical points within a tactical plan. Fires rehearsal, a highly technical and detailed rehearsal of the fire plan ensuring all offensive support actions from the observers to the command posts to the gun lines are aligned and able to support the manoeuvre plan. This presentation will now focus on describing the conduct of the mud model rehearsal concepts and provide examples of some of the key aspects of the ROC, specifically the ROC drill. ROC drill preliminaries. Prior to conducting a ROC drill itself, a number of preliminary actions are required to ensure it can be conducted effectively and in context. These preliminaries include a preparation of a detailed mud model of the area of operations as a whole, and potentially of specific components of the operation. This may see the requirement of 2 or more mud models to be conducted effectively. All personnel need to be accounted for or represented, and key operational documents handed out to the key participants. The commander introduces the rehearsal concept and outlines the focus areas for the rehearsal. This is usually articulated in the form of key risks to the operation, friction points or opportunities that he may seek to exploit if presented.
Okay, ladies and gents, the ROC drill for phase 1. The pieces I need you to look in detail at is the sequencing of the combat teams going up to the security positions on the near bank and the the timeline it's going to take to get my engineering assets up and established in the crossing point. Enemy concerns are the enemy reserve coming out of Ngambie or his aviation assets from vicinity Avenel. The main opportunities I'm looking for is early identification of his ground reserve and potential destruction by Battle Group Griffin assets.
Thereafter, participants are orientated to the mud model or terrain based on the type of the rehearsal concept being conducted.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Brigade Rock Drill for Phase 1 and 2 as part of Op Chevelle. Phase 1 is the river crossing, Phase 2 is the clearance of objective lance. We'll now conduct map orientation. S2.
The preliminaries conclude with a clear description of the ground rules by the S3 or Chief of Staff. The ground rules usually consist of the following: the actions to be rehearsed, time, event, box, belt or avenue and depth, the start state of forces, both enemy and friendly, the order of march and briefing requirements and time allocated for each participant to brief their component of the plan, how amendments to the plan are authorised by the commander and how they'll be recorded and then subsequently promulgated.
Order of march as seated. S2 will provide the enemy laydown. I will then introduce the start state of friendly forces for each phase. The friendly force FE will then brief your actions in accordance with brigade SOPs. S2 will then provide the key reaction. I will then seek commander's guidance. We'll then pause, record those amendments and then repeat. My focus items for this activity: synchronisation at the river crossing and sequence for force flow to the far bank in preparation for the assault. Ladies and gents, we'll now commence the rock drill for Phase 1. S2.
So the enemy start state is assessed to be with an objective lance, a mechanised infantry platoon with an anti-armoured squad in support. On objective mace, it's assessed that there is a mechanised infantry platoon securing the bridge in vicinity of Mitchelton. In Ngambie, it's assessed that there will be a battalion minus strength along with a tank platoon reserve supported by SA-22s. In Avenel and off the map, it's assessed that there is a tank company minus acting as the counter-attack force. And to the northeast and off the map again, in vicinity of Euroa, it is assessed that the brag is in that location and they are in range of objective lance.
Once the ground rules have been briefed and requirements have been stated, the rock drill is conducted. Watch now for a brief demonstration on the conduct of a rock drill and number of its key actions.
Friendly force laydown. Victor call signs firm in a screen to the north. Battle Group Lion secure, Brigade FUP. Battle Group Tiger firm in the Brigade Assembly area. Battle Group Griffin will be out of a FARP south of Broadford. Battle Group Boar will be with the CSST to the south, isolating Seymour. OS 812 will occupy ARAs to the south of Seymour Hill. And CSS Roll 2 Light Manoeuvre will be co-located with Battle Group Boar. The time now is 27:05:00 Lima, November 17. Friendly force has the initiative. Battle Group Line.
Battle Group Line, key tasks during this phase. Victor 3 remains in a guard to the north. Task, guard, purpose, deny interdiction of the crossing. Tango 1, task, suppress, objective lance. Purpose, enable Battle Group Tiger manoeuvre to the river crossing. Key risks during this phase. Key risks of Victor 1, key risk of the counter-attack force penetrating to the south, mitigated through Battle Group Griffin moving into battle positions to the north and situational reserve with Tango 1-3. Questions at this stage?
Okay, no questions, thank you.
So at this time, Combat Team Alpha and Bravo will conduct a simultaneous move via route Paris and Rome to the crossing points of north and south. Combat teams will dismount short of the objective, marry up with 6-3 call signs, and their vehicles will move back to their respective assembly areas. Combat Team Charlie and the reserve will move to called for area Berlin to maximise dispersion on the position. Task for Combat Team Alpha and Bravo will be to secure the crossing points to enable the seizure of objective Lance. Task for Combat Team Charlie and the reserve will be to follow and assume with the same purpose. Control measures are as indicated, with the key triggers for the movement forward of Combat Team Alpha and Bravo to the crossing points being Battle Group line reporting firm in SBF locations. The key risks at this point in time are enemy offensive support at the crossing points, mitigated and tolerated via dispersed positions and crossing points north and south, and call forward area Berlin. Questions, sir?
No questions, thank you.
At this stage, an ARH pair will be providing continuous coverage in a holding area approximately 10 kilometres to the west of the objective. They'll be postured to occupy battle positions to the north, immediately to the west, and to the south of the objective. These will be queued by airborne, mounted and dismounted OPs. UAS will be in a holding position to the west of the Goulburn River, primarily to observe the northern approaches to the objective area, and also to provide targeting for the ARH onto any reinforcements coming from the vicinity of Nagambie. MRH will be positioned in Broadford on standby for AME. CH will also be positioned ready to provide MASCAS support and emergency resupply if required. Battle Group Griffin's primary task is to guard, purpose, to enable the seizure of objective Lance. Primary risks at this time are the surface-to-air threat in the vicinity of Nagambie, mitigated by the SEAD plan. This stage, key enemy actions are the reinforcement of any enemy forces coming out of Nagambie that are supporting the forces in vicinity of objective Lance. Any questions?
No questions.
Sir, at this stage, 812 Regiment will be to the south of Seymour Hill in the ARAs. That's all three call signs, all three fire units. Their key task will be to suppress objective Lance. Secondary task will be to obscure the crossing point. The purpose is to enable the build-up of combat power on the eastern side of the Goulburn River. This will occur at H-5, allowing time for Tango 1 to occupy the SBF. The Giraffe A and B will be in the vicinity of 812 Regiment to the south of Seymour Hill. Their task, detecting the brag, and their purpose is to enable counter-battery fires from Div HIMARS. Air defence, our two troops. The first will be in a vital point defence, denying rotary wing interdiction to the crossing point. And the second troop will be in the south, supporting 812, disrupting rotary wing interdiction to 812. CAS will have both CAS and Growler electronic attack on station at this time. Their task is to disrupt any reinforcements from Nagambie, and their purpose is in order to support the Griffin Guard. Any questions, sir?
Okay, no questions, thank you.
So at the commencement of this phase, the CSST is operational, providing close support from vicinity the crossroads. The Roll 2 light manoeuvre has postured forward and is operational at the Brigade CCP, providing CASEVAC and damage control surgery. Battle Group A2 echelons with attached CHPs remain within Battle Group assembly areas. A1 echelons moved with the combat teams with attached additional evac assets and treatment teams. All distribution and recovery during this phase will be conducted within the Brigade assembly area at ECP1 and DP1. CASEVAC during this phase will be rearward via integral evac assets to the CCP. The key risk for this is the culmination of our health assets if we have a mass CAS of greater than 6 prior 1 casualties requiring surgery. This has been mitigated with the dedicated AME platforms from Battle Group Griffin to provide CASEVAC rear to the Roll 2 Echo at the BMA. Sir, do you have any questions?
No questions. Sir, that phase will be complete 27-1000 Lima. No further risks identified. With your concurrence, we'll pause for 5 minutes and then commence phase 2.
At the end of an effective rehearsal concept, the commander approved modifications to the plan, specifically the control measures, are formalised through the release of updated orders and supporting documents. Branch plans and sequels should have also been identified and confirmed by the commander at this time, and be fully planned and developed for distribution through the formal orders process. The effective release of these orders often serves as a clear handover takeover point of the operation plan from the future ops to the current ops teams for subsequent control and execution. The roles and responsibilities of all key personnel in the preparation and conduct of the rock drill are well articulated and described in the Combat Brigade SOPs. Most units also have clearly defined and executable SOPs to support the conduct of an effective and efficient rock drill, or can be used to support the development of unit-specific SOPs that can be aligned to a commander's preferences. Rehearsal concept drill common faults. What you're about to see now is a demonstration of a number of key faults. Too much detail provided by FE commanders. This results in time wasting and a drawn out rock drill.
So at the commencement of this phase, the CSST is operational in the vicinity of the crossroads. It's holding all stock on wheels, including 30,000 litres of diesel, 30 pallets of Class 1 rations, 30 pallets of Class 5 small arms, 20 pallets of Class 5 tank, and the Commander's Reserve of Class 5 artillery natures on 5 Mac and 20 combinations. It also has 2 FRTs that will provide medium-grade repair up to 4 hours rearwards.
A lack of discipline and not following the designated ground rules. This results in time wasting, a drawn-out rehearsal concept drill, and undermines the situational awareness of all participants involved.
In this phase, Battle Group Tiger will move to the crossing on route Rome and route Paris. At this stage, I'll probably need to take the engineers with me from depth, and I'll bring them forward into calling forward area Berlin, bring them forward and marry up with them there. I think I'm now priority of fire support, so I'll probably have to make a small amendment to the fire plan at this stage to support this.
I don't think that's going to work, mate. That's going to require significant changes
All right,
to what we're currently planning.
We'll just figure that out at the end of this and we'll sort it out, but that's what's probably going to have to happen. All right, and then I can secure the home bank. At this stage, I was going to use combat teams Alpha and Bravo to do it, and north-south, but I can also bring combat team Charlie up, and I can achieve a third secure force in this location, enabling 3 crossing points simultaneously, as I've got the capacity within the battle group. Have you got any questions?
Other common faults not demonstrated within this presentation include insufficient time between orders and the conduct of the rock drill, participation in the rock drill by the wrong people, using the rock drill as a form of wargaming, poor capture of modifications and a lack of follow-through of these modifications in the formal orders and supporting products, a lack of follow-through of identified branch and sequels to planning. The rock drill is a rehearsal that ensures a detailed and shared understanding of the plan. It ensures all subordinates and effects are synchronised and tactical actions are orchestrated to defeat the enemy and achieve the commander's intent. The rehearsal concept is not a wargame. The rock requires detailed and effective preparation, robust and well-articulated ground rules, continuous control by the S3 or Chief of Staff, and effective input by the appropriate subordinate commanders and BOS specialists to be effective and efficient. Amendments must be reported and actioned formally through the orders process. And remember, the rehearsal concept is a command-focused and led process.